Well, g'day, curd nerds. G'day, curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day, curd nerds, and welcome to Ask the Cheeseman. This is where you can learn about cheese making at home. Episode 174, and thanks for so many people for showing up. It's always great to have a great audience, because without a great audience, there wouldn't be any great questions. So a little bit of housekeeping. First up, like to say thank you to new patrons on Patreon. Brandy G, thank you, Brandy, for your patronage. And on YouTube memberships, Sam Wise Weeks. Thank you so much, Sam Wise. And thank you to all the financial members who keep the show running week after week. It is through your kind donations that the show continues every week, which is great. Alrighty, we got some shout outs to say. I've just got all sorts of stuff going on here. Hang on, let me just turn the volume down on my PC so I don't get notifications. There we go, all good. Whew. For those who don't know, I'm Gavin Weber, and I'm the chief curd nerd around here, and I like to think that I can answer most home cheese making questions. Been making cheese since 2009, so that's a long time. But yeah, it's all good fun, and we like to have a nice relaxed chat. We've got Kim moderating today, so Kim Weber, who is my lovely wife, and we've got a guest, young, where is she? That side. Holly, you might see her head pop up occasionally there. She's just eating breakfast on my couch. Anyway, shout out today. Let's have a look. First people on the chat today, who we see on the stream is Cease. Cease started very early this morning, about an hour before the show. No, hour and a half even. Yeah, there's been some confusion lately why the show time keeps changing. Hasn't changed at all from my end. Countries go in and out of daylight savings, and I like to keep the time constant here where I live. So, yeah, it may have changed 3 times, maybe 2 times where you are, because all of the daylight savings times, unfortunately, don't align up. They are all over the place like a dog's breakfast. Anyway, let's say g'day to a few people. So I've already said g'day to Cease. G'day, Monique. Lovely to see you. Agent 11. G'day, mate. How are you? We've got Chrissy. G'day, Chrissy. And I'll get your question soon. Rodney. G'day, Rodney. We've got Kevin P. We've got Judy Mac. We've got Manel. Patricia. G'day, Patricia. We've got Todd. We've got Peter. G'day, Peter. How are you? Kevin, Martin, Dan P. Got a super chat already, and that's what happens when a super chat goes off. We'll get to that in a second. It hasn't come up. Oh, there it is. Jim Jackson. Thank you, Jim, for your kind donation. Greetings, Gavin and Kim. Oh, hang on. Let me just pop. What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing here today. Here we go. Is it working? Show. There we go. Greetings, Gavin and Kim. Them puppies look great with their new spiffy haircuts. Yeah, if you don't know what Jim's talking about, if you go and check out my vlog channel, then it's called Gavin Weber Vlogs. Very original title, I know. But yeah, the doggos had their first grooming of the season this year, and yeah, nice little cute video that we put together yesterday. Okay. Who else? Let's have a look. Who else we got? Got lots of people. Where did I get to? Kevin, Martin, Dan, Margaret. G'day, Margaret. Lovely to see you. Rachel. G'day, Rachel. Jan C. We've got Kim moderating, as I mentioned. Stranger, Land and Livestock. Lovely to see you. Molly. Hello, Molly. Insert text. Yep, great name. Catchy. Where are we? So we've got Sam, Paul, g'day, how are you? Lovely to see. We got Mummy and we've got Robert. So that's all the people that have come up in the chat. Obviously, there are other people watching, which are great. Thank you very much. All the silent watchers, I won't say stalkers. That's such a bad word. It's the lurkers. I think that's what they call people that don't chat. But if you want to have a chat, don't forget to log in either to Facebook or YouTube, because we are live on both Facebook and YouTube. On YouTube, it's the channel called Gavin Weber, and on Facebook it's the channel called Cheeseman TV, or the page called Cheeseman TV, and that's where we're all watching from. Okay, so we have a gallery at 8:30 or 30 minutes past the hour, wherever you're living. Now, unfortunately, last night there was about 4 people while I was sleeping, because I try to stay up as late as I can on Saturday night my time and catch the pictures coming in for the gallery. Unfortunately, there was 4 people who put them in when I was asleep. So I didn't process those this morning because there's not much time between setting up the show and setting up the gallery. I do the gallery 24 hours before the show goes to air. So those 4 people, you know who you are. Please be a little bit more earlier. That's all I ask. The great photos, I just haven't got them in the gallery because I put the gallery together yesterday, my time. Okay. Kevin's saying, does anybody else have a pixelated YouTube feed? Let me just have a look at the stream health. No, it says it's good, and my monitor looks really good, so I don't think it is. All right, no big deal. All right, all good. So let's get on with some questions, shall we? Still got lots of people. Let's have a look. The first question of the day. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. I think Jan C was the lucky winner. Says, thank you for your sous vide video. After seeing it, my husband ordered me one. We got a Saki 1100 watt and made cheese with it twice. I'll never make cheese on the stove top again. Well done, Jan. Yes, it was a revelation to me. I had this thing sitting in the cupboard for a year. Honestly, I am such a slacker. And it was last session where I made the Castle or Castile Blue, which is still in post-production. The video, I haven't forgotten it. It's still happening. I'm taking little snippets as the cheese grows its blue mold, and I've got to pierce it today. That's still in post-production. But yeah, as I made that cheese, it just came to me that it was just so easy. And there was some naysayers in the comments, and you probably would have noticed that around that it won't retain its heat well enough. Look, for 30 degrees, it retained its heat. It turned on and off when it needed to because of the metal sink. But yeah, it's no big deal. Anyway, fantastic. Got a nice little comment here from Stranger Land and Livestock saying, hello, Gavin from Chesterfield, Idaho. Yeah, Idaho, USA. Gorgonzola style cheese in the making today. Thanks for all the videos and info you share. You're a great inspiration. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Question from insert text says, why do you not need to put calcium chloride in a cheese using Jersey raw milk? Okay, so with raw milk, it hasn't been heat treated. So that means that all of the soluble calcium that's required to set the casein matrix when you add rennet is still present. When you heat the milk up to pasteurize it, some of that calcium gets destroyed. It's calcium phosphate. So we add a little bit of calcium back in the form of calcium chloride, which is just a mineral salt. And that helps strengthen the curd set. You'll get between a 2 and 3% increase in yield from your milk if you use calcium chloride when using heat-treated pasteurized milk. So that's why I didn't when I used the Jersey milk that was raw. Okay. Molly says, can you please tell me the correct email for the cheese gallery? Molly, after the gallery, I'll show everybody how to send me send me the photos. So I'll do that then. Okay, Margaret says, hi Gav, I have a 15 centimeter stainless steel hoop, solid, no holes. My husband gave it to me when we were first dating, and that's what got me into cheese. Do I need to adapt your pressing times? You won't be able to press with a hoop, unfortunately. If you've tried, you may have noticed that the hoop will rise up when you press if it's got no bottom. So the difference between a hoop and a basket is closed at the bottom, and a hoop is just a big tube. Hoops are mainly used for things like blue cheeses and white mold cheeses that press on their own gravity. And usually they need holes to do that. They need holes through the hoop. So some of the whey can weep out. The whey doesn't tend to weep out very well just through the bottom, and certainly doesn't through the top. So you may need to drill some holes in it, and I would only use it for blue cheese, especially one that size, 15 centimeters across, which is about 5.5 inches, roughly, maybe 6, in diameter across the top. So, yeah, I hope that helps, Margaret. Okay, Chrissy says, good morning, Gavin. Just making your Colby this morning. When doubling the recipe, do I need to double the water for washing the curds? Thanks, Chrissy from Tasmania. Yes, quite simply, the physics of it would be that if you've got double the curds, you'll need double the water to wash it, Chrissy. So I hope that helps out, and thanks for watching from sunny Tasmania. Okay, need a quick drink of coffee. Next question is from Sam, and Sam says, hi, Gavin. Hope you and Kim are well. We're doing all right, mate. Thanks. Just turning in whilst making some late night halloumi, just heating up the whey before the final cooking step. Very nice. Hope it all turns out for you, mate. Halloumi's a very simple recipe, and it's just very nice to eat. I certainly like it. Kevin says, hi, started making cheese back in December. Thanks for all the info. You're most welcome, Kevin. It's a question from Todd, and Todd says, Gavin, have you ever made a roux? I think that's how you say it. Dried Mongolian cheese. No, I haven't. It's probably made from horse milk or yak milk. So not sure at all. Okay. Dominic says, good morning, Gavin. What's the next new cheese you will make? Reblochon, maybe? Maybe, mate. I actually haven't planned that ahead at the moment. I've got to sit down and plan out the videos for the next 2 or 3 months because at the moment I'm kind of we're waiting for Kim's treatment to finish before I planned anything, and that's all good, which is good. We went to the doctors this week, and all the good things. We've got some great indicators back. She's seen a surgeon. Her surgeon's happy with her. So some fantastic news there on the Kim front. So, yeah, my lack of planning has been due to going to the doctors and stuff so often. Even had to cancel the live stream on the vlog channel last week because we were just both so bushed because, we had 3 medical appointments on the same day just to get all these checks done. But, yeah, I'll put it on the list, mate. You know where my list is. Thank you, Dominic. Manel says, can you give me a substitute for Gruyere and Comté cheese? I mean, an alternative to give us the same taste. Very unique tastes. Look, any Alpine-style cheese, if you can get your hands on it, will give you a similar taste. Probably not so much ones with eyes in them, but, those harder style of cheese are a good substitute for cooking per se. Okay. Another question from Manel says, when I wait longer than from recipe to get good curds. Is that affecting the taste of the cheese, and is it affecting the pH? Yeah. So the longer you the longer you wait for anything, when after you've added the culture, the more acidic it gets, only slightly, but if you're only talking like 10, 15 minutes to get a good curd set, then not so bad. If you're talking hours, then yes, it definitely will change the structure of the curd, and it will change the pH of the final cheese as well. Okay. This one's from Jesse. Jesse says, hey, big fan from Holland. I wondered, what's the deal with cheese in soup? Okay. I think I answered this last week, but cheese in soup, if you look at, say, the classic French onion soup, it has a little bit of Gruyere sprinkled over the top, and it tastes amazing. It just adds that certain je ne sais quoi to the soup. That was my best French I could try. Sorry if it didn't match up to what your French is. But yeah, it just adds a little bit flavor. That's the only, there's probably hundreds of recipes with cheese in the soup. But yeah, I do like a very nice French onion soup with some Gruyere sprinkled on top. Okay, Paul's got a comment, I think. Let's have a look. I've been using raw milk for most cheeses I've made and was considering a new source of pasteurized, non-homogenized. How different is the end product between the two? Raw is still available. Even with pasteurized, non-homogenized milk, you'll get a little less yield due to the pasteurization process, so you shouldn't have too many problems. As far as the flavor goes, you probably will notice a difference in flavor. Remembering that the raw milk has got all the funky lactic bacteria still present. It hasn't been killed off. Especially for long-aged cheeses, there'll be a different flavor if you use pasteurized, non-homogenized milk. Because any bacteria you add to that milk, that's the flavor you get. With raw milk, you'll get all sorts of other flavors and enzymes that help your cheese develop. So that'll be the main difference. Curd set, yeah, it'll be okay. As Peter said, immersion cooker, which is the sous vide. Yes, Peter and I had an altercation with a food critic in the sous vide video. And we had a bit of a back and forth, and we both thought that person had no idea. Anyway, that's okay. Herb says sous vide rocks. Certainly does, mate. I like it. And Dan says, I only use sous vide, never had any issues. Perfect temperature every time. Indeed. Margaret says, hey, Gav. Oh, I think I've answered this already. No, we've already done that. Manuel asks, when I sterilize the brine solution, it is decreasing the amount. Can we increase the solution to 1 cup or no? So I think when you're pasteurizing the brine, if you've left it for a while, yes, it will. If you boil it, it will obviously reduce a little bit. You can add some water back in there. It's no big deal. It'll be fine. Mummy says that sous vide makes holding the curd warm during the cheddaring process so easy. Yes, it does. Just keep your pot in the water bath with the curd in it as you're cheddaring. It does make it easy, because those big manufacturers that make, masses of cheddar have a water jacket cooled stainless steel pot, or whatever they call it. And it's massive, and the water jacket between the two layers of stainless steel keep the curds warm all the time, even during cheddaring. More of a statement, I think, from Brad. Says, your videos are very relaxing, great content, keep going, sir, we appreciate you. Thank you very much, Brad. Okay, let's have a look. This question's from Greenleaf Kitchen. It says, hello, if the curd is cut and then left in the way, would that cause the cheese to become stinking and full of little holes after aging? Or is it likely a lack of salt in the cheese? Very good question. Very hard to determine the cause. If it's left in when the curds are cut and then left in the whey, if they're left in the whey for how long? You don't say. I don't think it'd cause it to be stinky. Maybe if you left it there for an hour or so without stirring it or anything, then yeah, you might get some extra acid development. But for stinking, no, I don't think that'd be more Brevibacterial linens contamination than anything else. Full of little holes after aging. No, I don't think that would cause it either. Little holes after aging. If they're tiny little holes and it looks like a sponge, then yeah, it was a coliform infection right up front of the process if you're using raw milk. And you don't say that either, unfortunately, Greenleaf. Is it a lack of salt? Hard to determine. Don't know the whole process. Sorry about that. Kevin says, I've noticed that when you used a natto, your cheese is very yellow, 15 drops. I have used sometimes 45 drops and the cheese is still white. Why? Could be the different strengths of a natto, maybe. I tend to shake the bottle when before I do the drops, because it's a suspension and some of the annatto tends to fall out to the bottom. So you have to give it a good shake in the little bottle. Maybe that's it. That's all I can think of, Kevin. Kevin, another Kevin, says, Kevin J says, have you tried an automatic stirrer? I have one and love it. No, I haven't. Because I used various pot sizes, unless you've, made it yourself, that may be a bit of a problem. But I haven't, and I haven't found one that's been reliable. If you do have one, shoot me an email, Kevin. That would be lovely, and I'll have a look. Maybe purchase one and do a video on it and see if I can get it to work. Manuel has another question. I saw some cheesemaker don't care for pH. What do you advise for beginners? Is it important to read pH when we make cheese or no? Look, technically, when you're first making cheese, the last thing you want to do is start measuring pH. It just confuses the heck out of the cheese making process. The very first time or few times that you want to make cheese, you just want to make something that works. You don't want to have to fiddle around, measure pH, and add another thing in to complicate it. That's why you'll see all of my beginner recipes, or even some of the non-beginner ones, don't have any pH measurements. That's because really you can make the cheese without it if you just follow the steps. A bit like making a cake. You don't need to measure the pH. Anyway, Molly's got a statement or a question. I made honey mead on March the 2nd and all the yeast is settled to the bottom of the jar, but the fruit hasn't snuck yet and it's stopped bubbling. Is that normal? So 2nd of March, it's now 11th of April, about a month. Yeah, that'll be about right. So it took quite a while for the fruit and all that stuff to sink to the bottom. In fact, I think there were probably one or two raisins that were sitting at the top, and they continue to float. So your mead will clear up. It may take a month or so. Some people do rack off the mead, which means they siphon it off into another demijohn after the fermentation has stopped, and you'll know if the fermentation stopped because the bubbling stopped. So yeah, some people do rack it off the lees. The lees is the yeasty stuff down the bottom, or any of the particulates. But if it started to clear, then just leave it and then bottle it in a few months' time. But yeah, it does need some time to clear up. Hope that helps, Molly. Thomas, I think that's how you say it. Favorite cheese? All the cheeses, mate. Love them all. Dan says, hi, Gavin. Making Havarti from your YouTube video today. When would be the best time to wax it? Dan, I would wax it after it's air dried. So now the Havarti's a very moist cheese, so it tends to take a bit of time to expel a lot of the whey after you've pressed it. And it does tend to flatten sometimes too, because like I said, it's very moist cheese. So air dry it for a few days at room temperature. And if you find that there is still some issues there, then pat it off with a paper towel and then wax it then. Because it's such a high moisture cheese, it's susceptible to mold growth. Some people vacuum pack it, some people wax it. It's up to you. But yeah, do that sooner rather than later before it starts getting mold growing all over it. Okay. Kev V said, how did that Tipo Queso Manchego ever turn out? I never saw the tasting. Yes, it tasted very nice. Thank you very much. It would have been better if I had to use sheep's milk, of course, to stick to tradition. But I use cow's milk, which was a poor substitute for Manchego. Since I've now tasted real Manchego, it was similar, but not the same, if that makes sense. Reason there was no taste test video was because it was back in the early days of my YouTube career and cheese making career. And I didn't do taste tests. I just made the cheese video and just ate the cheese afterwards and didn't film it. Now we do taste tests. We have done for the last 3 or 4 years, maybe 5. But yeah, before that, not so much. Martin says he would love to see Reblochon too. I made it from a book recipe. It was very nice in a tartiflette. I think that's how you say it. I don't know what a tartiflette is, but yeah, you can amplify that if you want, Martin. But yeah, it sounds like a nice cheese. I did try to make it once, and I think I half filmed it, and the curd didn't set or something, and I didn't proceed. So I just haven't got around to making it again. XPFC Wintergreen says, Godspeed and good cheese to Kim and Gavin. Love that Hamish haircut video too. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Kimmy, if you haven't already done that, pop up the link to the haircut video for the doggos. I think people will be interested. Anyway, insert text has asked, have you ever made Bergenost, an American cheese? Would you do a video on it? I'd never heard of it. So let's have a look. I'll see what I can find. I don't recall a recipe in any of my books, but I'll have a look. We'll see what I can come up with. Anyway, thanks very much, Mr. Insert Text or Mrs. Chrissy, I think I've already answered. When doubling the recipe, do I need to double the word washing curd? Yes, I've already answered that one. Yes is the answer. Mika says, I think we've already done this. No, different person. Big fan from Holland. Why does cheese in soup taste amazing? Because it does. I think we've already answered that. Lots of people talking about soup and cheese. Yeah, righto. Whatevs. Where are we? Let's have a look. Here's a question from Frank. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. Is using a vacuum sealer instead of waxing the cheese any better or worse? It's about the same. I get about the same results, even in flavor, texture, all that. Only when you're pressing semi-hard and hard cheeses. Don't do mold ripened cheeses because they need oxygen, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, so yeah, semi-hard, hard cheeses, that's what you press. Sorry, vacuum pack. Okay. Greenleaf Kitchen just amplified a couple of hours in the way, and yes, raw milk. Yes, probably coliform infection right at the start of the process. If it looked like a sponge when you pressed it, that's the telltale sign. That could have been fixed with a bit of pasteurization. No problems at all. Okay, my little alarm has gone off, which means it's time for the gallery, and I'm pretty close to being near the near where I need to be, which is fantastic. Okay, let's hang on. Where are we? No. Oh, right. So I'll make sure I stay there. Right. Let's do the gallery. Let's see if I can share. And thanks to there's a new member as well over on YouTube, Krogan Love. Thank you very much for your YouTube membership. I appreciate it. All right. Let me pull up the gallery. Let's see if we can get this screen sharing to work this week. And because that's what we do here. Here we go. Here is the screen. Yay. All righty. So now, I better open up the little notes and stuff. Oops. Rightio. Got a whole bunch of notes and stuff from people. Let me just open those up as well so we can read them out. We have lots of cheeses in the gallery, and I put all these together yesterday. Okay, so the first one is from Cease, and let me just make that a little bit bigger. This is a farmhouse blue cheese that she used out of my recipe. You can see that there are like holes and stuff that she's pierced in there, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's have a look, and here's the finished product. Now, Cease did mention that she had to scrape off a lot of that funky rind, which is fine. That's kind of what you do. But it's very soft and it's very, very strong. And reason being is, and we had a little bit of a discussion, that she aged it for about a month too long. And yeah, the longer you age blue cheese, the stronger it gets, the funkier it gets as well. But great looking blue cheese. Can I make that a bit bigger? There we go. Very nice. Great vein development. Looks like a little bit of Brevibacteria linens still on the surface, but that's okay. That'll give it just a little bit of extra funk. But yeah, very nice looking cheese. Well done, Cease. Okay, next one is from Charlie Pace, and Charlie sent this through a little while ago as well. This is his family's favourite cheese. This is, and we'll get to the super chat in a sec, but thank you whoever did it. This is his family's favorite cheese. This is the blue cheddar, or the farmhouse cheddar blue that I made. Yeah, absolutely fantastic looking cheese. This is in the different stages of it. You can see the one on the left there is just straight out of the press, air drying. The one behind it is before he scraped off, and it probably still hasn't matured, but then the one that he has scraped some of the mold off and served it up looks absolutely lovely. A little bit crumbly, which I would expect from this cheese, but looks absolutely fantastic, Charlie. Well done to you, mate. And there it is close up. Very nice indeed. Okay. So let's have a look at the next one. This is from Greta, and it is a forme d'ambert. Do I have any notes from Greta? No, I don't. She made this forme d'ambert. It looks very nice, very creamy as a forme d'ambert. Forme d'ambert normally is a tall sort of cheese, and I couldn't manage that because I only had a mold that was quite low in profile. So she seems to have done the same, but it looks like a very nice blue cheese, good development. And this is a tilsit that she's made that has some Brevibacteria linens on top, and she's still washing this one. I think she said she has tasted this one now, and it's very mild, but it's very nice. Okay, so this is from Joe, and Joe's got a little bit of a spiel here. I'll just read this out. It says, this is a blue vein cheese that he's made. So he says he's made a couple of cheeses recently, Triple Brie, which is the next one, and this Mad Millie Blue made by cow Frisian milk. So this is using Frisian milk, raw milk. Fantastic looking cheese. It's a great marbling there in the middle that I didn't get on mine. But yeah, so it's the made by cow raw milk. And the other one, this is the one he's made, Triple Brie, using the Jersey milk, which is a richer milk. And he said the flavor was outstanding as well. Well done, Joe. Okay, so this is from Kim Wilson, and Kim Wilson's got a bit of a blurb here too from her email. she's got quite a few cheeses. So this is a cloth banded cheddar first up. Says, hi, Gavin. Thank you so much for all the videos, information, tips, live Cheeseman talks. I keep missing them. Hopefully you didn't miss this one, Kim. Wednesday is my cheese making day. Primarily, I do squeeze in a Friday now and then. Started making my first cheese from you. I previously made cottage cheese, ricotta, and mozzarella. The first one was dark ale cheese made on March 19th. My cheese cave is a freezerless refrigerator. I can't decide what to do with my curd nerd sticker. That'll become evident in a second. It's difficult to find containers. So she's found one and showed me, and I have a brie in the cooler. It should fix it. Anyway, let's go through the pictures. Thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate it. All right, so this is cloth banded cheddar. It looks lovely before maturing. This is her cheese fridge, just a normal, it's like a dorm fridge or bar fridge, we call them here in Australia. And certified curd nerd sticker. She hasn't stuck it on anything yet, but has ordered it off the merch store. So she's using the Rubbermaid. I think it's a little mat in the bottom, which is great. Just anything that keeps the cheese off the whey as it's expelling whey in the first, week or so will help. So that will work. You could have probably elevated a little bit more if you wanted to, using some bamboo sushi mats. This is her press. Looks like either she's got it made or made it herself. It looks quite cool, and that works. This is her honey mustard cheese. No, not honey mustard. Honey mustard's something else. That's ham. Mustard and dark ale looks very good. Mine's actually getting darker and darker as it matures, but we'll see that when we get to the taste test in a month or so. But good looking cheese, Kim. And that's your Rubbermaid Fresh Works. This is a Stilton before going in the cheese cave. So it's been air drying on the side, got a nice cover of blue, which is fantastic. Okay, so thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. These are the next photos. This is from Michael Nielsen, and he said, let me just make this a little bit bigger. He's made this device for... and I'll read his little blurb. It says, we're making brie. One of the most challenging parts of the process is flipping the brie over in the molds and keeping it all intact. I've done it the hard way a couple of times now and figured it has to be an easier way, so I invented one. I'm sharing a few pictures to get your thoughts. A plastic grid is from the lighting section at the hardware store. Beyond that, it's just some bits and pieces from the hardware store. Bottom grid stays locked in position. The top grid can be removed with the wing nuts, as you can see. I've sized mine to fit 4-inch molds at one time. Should be right for about a 2-gallon batch. Anyway, so you just turn it on. I'll just show you the pictures, but thank you so much, Michael, for sending those in. Let me just make that kind of flip, change the next picture. So there it is there on its side. So only suggestion I've got is get some plastic mat to go, because the holes, as we can see in the next picture of the, sorry, too far. You can see that they're too big. The curds will fall through them. So some plastic matting will need to go top and bottom, and then that'll be perfect, absolutely perfect for flipping over your camemberts or bries or whatever you want. Just got to make sure everything's sanitized. That's the only other bit. And that's not too bad. You can do that with some a weak bleach solution. So 2 liters of water and 2 tablespoons of just normal plain bleach without any fragrance or anything, and just rinse all that, and that should be good to go. Anyway, moving right along. Thank you, Michael. Great little invention there, and that should help people if they are willing to make it themselves. Moving right along. Patricia, I think Patricia's on the chat. And where is it? This is a brie she's making. It hasn't been wrapped yet. She's still aging it. It's got a nice mold covering, and it looks like the mold's intact when she's been flipping it. The brie is difficult to flip, but put something on top and then just flip it over. It seems to work all right. I was watching how they make brie in France. Very cool. And yeah, it's they make it look easy. It wasn't that easy for me because I think my curds were too acidified. So it was a bit of a problem. But yeah, fantastic looking brie, nice and flat and round, which is what they should be. And this is Patricia's Knockelost. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think it's got cloves and caraway in it. But if Patricia wants to chime in, I can't find the email I originally came from and don't have any notes. But the recipe is over at cheesemaking.com. So a very cool looking cheese. And I'm going to have to give it a go myself. I've put it on my list. But yeah, absolutely fantastic and great looking cheese. Well done, Patricia. Okay, so that is the gallery this week. Like I said, some people sent in some gallery stuff. Hang on, let me close that down. Some gallery stuff overnight, and I just couldn't get to them in time before the show started. So unfortunately, that's what happened. For those who want to send me some gallery pictures, I will just show you how. So if you look on the screen here, you'll notice that this is my YouTube page without me being logged in. I've done it incognito. All you have to do is go to the channel page. This is the main channel page for the channel, and you go to the About tab just here. Hopefully you can see my little mouse pointer. Click on About, and down here it says Details. For business inquiries, sign in to see the email address. So you sign in, click here. There'll be a little bit of a robot, I'm not a robot thing, and all should be good. And yeah, you'll be able to send me an email with your pictures and all that sort of good stuff, and we will include them in the gallery. So just go to the About tab, sign in, and you can see the email address. But that's how you do it. And I think Molly asked that question earlier on. So thank you so much. Righty, so that's how we send photos in the gallery. So please do that. That will be absolutely make my day. I love seeing your photographs and I love showing them. I think people love it. They really do. So thumbs up, everybody who enjoyed the gallery. Pop a like in there, and then I'll know that the gallery continues. Now, Patricia just mentioned for that cheese, she put in cloves, cardamom, and fennel. Caraway seeds bring back nightmares. She doesn't eat it. So cloves, cardamom, and fennel in that cheese are Knockelost, I think it's pronounced. But yeah, well done. Now, let's get to that. There was a super chat during the gallery. Let's see if I can find it. It's from Kim Wilson, who I showed all her lovely pictures. And she put a $25 super chat. Thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate it. Doesn't look like there's a question there. But yeah, thanks so much. I really appreciate it. Okay, let's get back. I still have 15 minutes to go. Let's see if I can find where I was before. I don't really want to miss out on people's questions if I can help it. Okay. Let's have a look. What is this? Herb says, I've used raw milk around 15 times, never had coliform, sterilize it, don't criticize it. Indeed. Thanks, Herb. Yeah, look, it's great medium, but sometimes the milk is infected, unfortunately, and it's not good for cheese making. Most of the time it is. But yes, some people, especially newbies who use raw milk and aren't aware of some of the things that can happen to it, get a bit of a surprise when they make cheese out of it. Okay, let's have a look. Insert text says, have I ever made cheese out of donkey's milk? It's pretty hard because it's not much curds, and but I have seen cheeses like Pule. I don't know how to pronounce that, but no, not many donkeys around here, so no donkey milk, unfortunately. C says, have I ever made hoop cheese? It's an old southern cheese from the US. I've heard of it. It's a raw milk cheese that is curdled by being left out on the side. So I don't know how safe it is. And it is then drained and pressed. No cultures, no rennet, as far as I can remember, from a recipe somebody shared with me many, many years ago. So, I have heard of hoop cheese. I don't have a recipe for it. Okay. Is a statement more from Lewis. It says, Gavin, that's Gavin. Thanks for your advice and videos. When in a normal situation, you are invited to Susa, Colombia, to have fun in a farm making some cheeses. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate it. If I ever get to Colombia, I'll look you up. I'll make sure that I find you. Where are we? Martin has amplified on what tarte fillet is. It's a traditional French meal made with a whole reblochon wheel. It's amazing. Great recipes on YouTube. I'll check it out, mate. I'll have a look. Kim put up a link for the Westie puppy first grooming, which was great fun to make. A bit stressful for Kim, though. I'll have to say that. Kim was very stressed on how Hamish would go at the groomers, and apparently he was pretty good. It took him a little while to get it done, but yeah, it was good. Okay, Patricia's got a question. Says, what is Manchego supposed to be like? The one I made recently got a brutal bee linen surface infection when I cut off. Paste is supple like Port Salut and tastes like Gruyere. Close. Not really. It was really white. It was firm, a very firm cheese, the one that I bought anyway. I don't know, I can't attest to it. I got it from the supermarket, the real Manchego. The one that I made was very firm. It was sharp because of the addition of a thermophilic and a mesophilic and some lipase as well. So it was sharp cheese, very similar but not similar in texture to a Parmesan or a Grana Padano style. It was not crumbly, so there was no graininess. It was just smooth to cut. So it was very nice. I think Peter's got a little bit more of an amplification there. I got a sheep's milk Manchego 10-litre batch about 4 weeks ago. I'll send a picture. Hopefully it tastes better than my first attempt. I think there was a lipase irregularity. It tastes like vomit, and it's rewrapped and back in the bottom of the cave. Yes, if the sheep's milk is naturally high in lipase already, then you probably don't need to add it to the milk in that recipe. But the recipe that I had was for sheep's milk, and it did say add lipase. So yeah, to finish off your question, Patricia, the Manchego was nice. It was strong, white cheese, firm, and had similar undertones to, say, a very lightly aged Parmesan, I suppose. But yeah, very nice cheese. Let's have a look. Aga says, yo, Cheesy Gav, the new YouTube adverts are making videos unwatchable. They suck big time. Yeah, unfortunately, that's YouTube. I can't determine who puts ads on my videos. I just turn the ads on or off. And I'd prefer to turn them on, unfortunately, because it's a business decision. It makes money, keeps us going, as well as your financial donations via Patreon and YouTube memberships. But yeah, a YouTuber in control of when they put the ads in. We don't have much choice there, Aga, at all, unfortunately. I think they're trying to push people into signing up to YouTube Premium, which doesn't have any ads. And it's a monthly subscription like, say, Netflix. Getting ads at all. And I actually do get a portion of revenue from people who sign up for YouTube membership, not YouTube membership, YouTube Premium, which is, their ad-free service. So, yeah, I hope that helps. Molly says, will leaving the mead with the yeast affect the taste? No, mine sat there for 5 months, Molly, before I racked it off. So there was no effect. It tasted very, very nice. Kevin V says, or Kev V says, any hope of getting cold pressed milk in the USA? Don't know. You'll have to ask the manufacturers over there whether that process is deemed legal to be sold as milk over there without any issues. Certainly here in Australia, it was a revolutionary process that but fruit juice has been cold pressed for years. That's the method of pasteurization for fruit juice. So it doesn't lose any of its flavor, but it kills off any bad bacteria that may be lurking in the fruit juice. So that's how they do it. Okay. How many minutes? We've got a few. This one's from Scott, says, Gavin, hi from Idaho. Curious, aside from being an excellent cheesemaker and YouTube producer, what is your profession and where were you educated? University of Hard Knocks. I could say that. My profession is YouTuber. It's not my full-time profession, but it's one of the income streams. The other one is Kim and I run an online store called Little Green Workshops, where you can pick up your cheese making supplies. So have I got a caption for it? Yeah, there it is. littlegreenworkshops.com.au. We do ship to quite a few countries now, but yeah, so you can check that out if you want, but that's part of my profession. So that's what we do most of the time. Where I was educated, I was in the Navy for 20 years, had a fair bit of education there. I went to high school in Loxton in South Australia. Didn't go to university, joined the Navy when I was 16. Spent 20 years in the service and served in the First Gulf War on HMAS Adelaide, Her Majesty's Australian ship, which is now been retired from service. It was a lovely ship. I liked it. Anyway, so that's where I got a lot of my education in the military. Okay. Moving right along. This one's from Olivia. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Gavin, not sure you'll remember this, but your blue cheese suggestion for pizza was absolutely superb. Legend. Thank you so much. Yes, it was. It is. I've tried blue cheese on a pizza. It is delicious. Paul K says, hi, Gavin. I made Gouda and aged it for 12 weeks. The outer centimetre or so nearer the rind was soft, tasted like Gouda, but the inside of the cheese was crumbly, tastes like cheddar. Is that normal? No, it's actually quite consistent all the way through. Not sure what's happened there during your aging. Did you turn it often? At least once a week would be my first question, because that helps distribute the fats all the way through it and makes even ripening. If the rind dried out too quickly, then that would be an issue as well. So, yeah. Kim's give me the wind up. I'm not sure why, because it's a bit early. Anyway, thanks, Paul. We've got a few minutes to go as far as I can tell. Thanks, Kimmy. Next question is, this is from Khaled and says, if I can't find calcium chloride or raw milk, will I get a curd by adding rennet to pasteurized milk? Yes, you will, and you'll get a lower yield, a much lower yield, probably 3 or 4% lower than you would if you had calcium chloride. You may get a wheat curd set as well. So, okay. Next question, if I can find it, is people talking about the cheeses. This question's from Kim, says, New England cheese making. I get most of my supplies and cultures. Their recipes which use mesophilic culture say use the entire packet. For your recipe, a packet lasts me for 4 recipes. Why do they do that? They actually put a lot of filler in there, so like maltodextrin into their culture sachets. So I think usually their sachets are good for a 2-gallon amount. So I would trust them actually on what they say in their packets. Cultures have different strengths. Manufacturers make them differently. They're never the same from different manufacturers. I tend to use Sacco, which is an Italian brand for my cheeses, and they don't have any filler. They're very strong, and I use a lot less. But I try to do an average for everybody, especially if we're using things like some of the Danisco brands by Choose It. They have a lot of filler as well. So I do tend to up their culture dosage. It's an average. So your cheeses will work out very fine. Okay. Question from Lena says, hello, dear. Thank you. Very formal. Thank you for everything. Little question. What is the best way to preserve liquid rennet? Keep it in the fridge. It'll last a good year or so. No problems at all. Okay. Kim's going to bring down Hamish. So wanted to put in the links. Okay. Thanks, honey. Okay. Let's get to the bottom. Hamish, where are you? Come along, my small boy. He's had his hair cut. Oh, hello. Here he is. Come here, little man. Thank you, honey. I'll hold him better this time. There we go. Oh, thank you. Do you like kisses? Thank you, Hamish. So he looks like a... There we go. For those who can't see him. Oh, come on, mate. Stop jiggling. Oh, he loves a cuddle, this boy. He loves a cuddle. Holly loves a good cuddle too, but she's kind of sleeping. So Hamish has been with... Come here, cheese dog. All right, there we go. He looks like a Westie now. He doesn't look like a puppy anymore. He's more of your adolescent sort of Westie. So there he is. Anyway, thank you, Kimmy, for bringing him in. I'll pop him down. There we go. Oh, thanks, everybody, for watching today. We'll wrap the show up there. Sorry I didn't get any of the get all of your questions. I never can. There's so many. But, yeah, thank you so much for asking them. And thanks, everybody, for watching on YouTube and Facebook. I really appreciate it. And without your questions, there wouldn't be a show, really. And thanks to everybody for their financial support through Patreon and YouTube memberships. I really appreciate it. Anyway, let's call it a show. We will see you next week. Same time, same channel. And hopefully now that all the daylight saving comings and goings have happened, the time stays stable. The time of the show stays stable where you are for at least the next 6 months. Okay. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.